что надо, неряха как бы. Неряха это для женщины хорошее качество или не очень хорошее? Или это для женщины позорное качество? Ну, да, понимаете. Аккуратность это вообще мужская привилегия, скорее это мужское вот такое. Да. И это как бы последствия просто того, что да, много всего потому что да, ну это нормально для мужика. И то как бы, а что ты будешь как это самое? Ну давай ты, ой, ты будем аккуратненьким все это как бы. Ну это для чего-то так если. И то как бы темпорарий. Ну я имею в виду, что это хорошее женское свойство. Плохое надо всем, да. Просто у женщин здоровья не будет, понимаешь, и судьбы не будет тогда. Женщина нерях кому нравится, вот, понимаешь? Так чтобы они пахло от них, или вазелин, ну как бы, да, чтобы они красивые, вкусные были. Да, понимаете. Да, понимаете, просто, да. Ну, тебе нет, ну, для себя, для своего. Вообще просто да, все. Я сам просто офигеваю, да. От себя. Это даже не столько. Ладно, здравствуйте, магазинчик. Да, будет. Не, ребенки не бывают плохими. В принципе, ну, в том смысле, что дети все малютки как бы да. Ну, имеется в виду, что она себе дома тебе не могут. А, ну это что ли? А, это да. Ребенок это вот такая штука, которая до полового созревания, понимаешь? Если ты про это говоришь. Не понимаешь, про себя говоришь. Проблемы, говорит, вот ну, в том смысле, что ну плохой, да, плохой, да, плохой ребенок просто, да, плохой ребенок, да. Вот это единственное самое, да. Я не понимаю, что это такое. Да, вот это единственное. Вот это и есть. Вот это и было оно самое. Ну на. А это она придумала сама, что ли? Она не говорит же даже про это ничего. Я не понимаю, что там происходит. Наоборот, так, да. Это есть, так наоборот, так, да. Вот это и есть она. Что не говорит иначе. Что дальше? Спасибо. Спасибо. Да. Вот это, да, вообще было такое, да, вообще, да, вот это, да, такой я, ну наоборот, это не наоборот, вот наоборот. Вот это она имеет в виду, типа изображает из себя просто кого-то. Да, вот это. Да, принцессу она нет. Хорошо. Нет, наоборот, когда. Ну ладно. Ну вот это и есть на самом. Ну да. Ну да. Ну просто играть с ней надо, да. Просто как бы, как будто кто-то чем-то учится, как будто что-то урок идет, типа, да. Ладно. Сам не знал, что ли, сам не узнал. Да. Ну вот это и есть. Ну это и была всегда. Ну да, значит. Ладно. Что играть? Я походу, да. А что-то, чтобы получалось, не надо делать, да, вообще? Наоборот, это надо. Ну и чё, такая, кто меня слушать-то будет? Ну вот это, да, слушай, наоборот, сиди молча, играй этим. Да все нормально, все хорошо, хорошее. Да, понимаете. Видишь, все, ну ладно, я просто разбираться уже должен в ситуации, разобраться должен. Ну вот это есть, только одна. Вот это есть. Да, это ее просто уже, да. Ну да. Да нет, понял, тебя просто уже, да. Желаемо. Банан, да. почти. Да наоборот, наоборот. Да. Да, злого дядю играешь. Да, дядька злой. Позорный ты демон просто. Все. Дьявол репито. Да. Да, ты что, серьезно? Да, да. Как нас я так думать? Да, да. Ну вот это думать, вот это. Да, наоборот. Ну, да. Да, да. Ну, наоборот, наоборот. Так надо тогда, чтобы... Да, вообще, объяснение. Да. Вот пошел зря.
Many pianists wonder why their chords sometimes sound very tense and harsh, particularly when they're playing forte. And usually the reason for that is because they're pressing quite hard into the keys with a tense wrist and a tense elbow. So here I'm going to talk quite a lot about cantabile chords, about how we play with a really warm sound with the minimum of effort. We're going to be talking about using gravity to just drop into the keys rather than pushing. And this will give a much softer impact on the keys, which will mean we'll avoid that noise that you get when you really push into the keys, and give a beautiful, warm, rich sound. And for pianists, particularly who have small or average-sized hands, we're going to talk quite a lot about how to release tension between chords so you don't build up tension and become fatigued or even end up in pain. When you first introduce chords to a beginner, I find it's much better to introduce just an open fifth using the thumb and fifth finger, rather than try and play a three-note triad. And the reason for that is because the thumb and the fifth finger are much more anatomically independent of each other and of the fingers. So students usually find it's much easier to coordinate those two fingers together. A beginner may well find it's quite hard to just play 1, 3 and 5, and in the effort to put down the third but not to put down the fourth, they may end up starting to lift the 2 and 4 in that way, or really press with the third, or start to become very tense in the wrist. So I like to start with just teaching a parachute touch onto a fifth in that way. Now, just to remind you, I'll just run through very quickly the technique for the parachute touch. You can start by doing a very loose swing, which is a great warm-up for doing the parachute touch. Okay? Then you just imagine that the hand is a hot air balloon. It just floats up into the air. Remember that you're looking for the hand being very relaxed when it gets to the top. And then it just parachutes down very gradually. And you do that quite a few times with your breath, breathing in, breathing out. In, out. And then just start to minimize the movement until it's around piano playing area. So what we're using here is gravity, just letting the hand drop down with gravity. You can drop onto your knee, you can drop onto the piano lid, and then you can just drop onto a fifth. And then you can start to move around it as a scalic sort of passage. And the other advantage of just playing at a fifth is that you're not trying to stretch out into bigger intervals. I avoid that until hands are really big enough to do it, because inevitably when you're opening out the hand, it does develop a little bit more tension across the hand. So what we're trying to learn first is a really comfortable just chord technique which is within the natural compass of the hand, which for most people is a fifth. If you've got somebody with very big hands, you know, an adult beginner, then they might prefer to start at a sixth. That's absolutely fine. And of course, don't forget the black notes. So you could just do it in this way. And that's a great way to start introducing some improvisation. They could play that drone in the left hand with F sharp and C sharp, and then just make up a tune in the right hand on black notes. And if they want, they can add pedal to it and it'll sound beautiful. And this drone idea, you can use it in the Big Ben tune where I add in the drone. And so on. Other great pieces for using the drone for the fifth is the Grieg Wedding Day at Trollhaugen, and Bartók Ostinato from Mikrokosmos all use that lovely fifth drone.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anik, I'm a classical pianist and I'm a little bit sick. Oh yeah, by the way, say hello to my new friend. I'm very, very happy that he's finally here.
You are about to see those distinctive details of material, construction, and precision engineering that make a Steinway piano, whether a grand or a vertical, different from any other piano in the world. The difference that makes Steinway pianos so intuitively responsive, so incomparable in sound, they are chosen by 95% of the world's performing artists. I'm John Steinway, and welcome to a tour of our Long Island City, New York factory and the making of a Steinway. 85% of the piano is wood. We inspect every piece of lumber that arrives at our factory to be certain that only the top grade of each wood used will be built into every Steinway piano. The lumber is air-dried for up to 1 year and then kiln-dried to remove any tendencies for warping and cracking. Now our basic construction begins with the most basic and dramatic procedure of all, bending the rim. Straight-grained hard rock maple is laminated and glued together in flat-grained sets. Flat graining gives a 47% improvement of vibrational characteristics over cross-grained plywood-style sets. Steinway's unique system is to bend both an inner rim and an outer rim at the same time. This is the method that achieves ultimate strength and durability, and the quality of sound distinctive to Steinway. The sets of maple, about 20 feet long, are carried to the press and clamped into position. The press, an invention of C.F. Theodore Steinway, was patented in 1880. They work around from the center outwards, tightening the clamps. What results is a homogeneous foundation of unified inner and outer rim, capable of standing the tremendous tensions of stringing.
Работать надо, да. Хочешь сочинять, надо работать, сочинять пальчиками, сердце надо. Да, понимаешь. Не хамить. Наоборот. Наоборот.
Each rim is removed from the press and stored upright in a conditioning room for several months, depending on size. A glued and doweled assembly of case cornice and rest plank are glued into the rim. The rest plank is made of 7 layers of maple, laminated and glued so that the grains cross at 45-degree angles. This is our patented hexagrip construction. It is still ours alone, and the gripping power that this hexagrip construction provides gives every Steinway piano a tuning stability that is by far the strongest in the industry. The next important components are the soundboard and bridge. The soundboard is made of slow-grown Sitka spruce, a tall evergreen from the Northwest and Alaska. We use the highest criteria to select the finest grade available. It has wonderfully close grains, and the logs are quarter sawn so that the grain runs straight down the length of the board. Nothing else comes close to the acoustical qualities of this wood. To the native properties of the wood, we add an exclusive and distinctive feature, our famous diaphragmatic taper. It is fitted into the piano, slightly crowned. This allows vibrations to travel freely along the grain to the center, moving more air, increasing the sound, and projecting it. The bridge glued to the top of the soundboard is made of vertical laminated maple, just like the grand rim. The bridge transmits vibrational energy from the strings to the soundboard. One important component is the iron plate, cast from Bell quality iron in one piece from our exclusive patents. The soundboard, with its bridge and the cast iron frame, are now assembled inside the piano rim, or the belly of the piano, by a man called the bellyman. It is an involved process to get the soundboard correctly placed, the bridge height precisely determined, so that the pure Swedish steel strings we use will have the correct. The bridge transmits vibrational energy from the strings to the soundboard. One important component is the iron plate, cast components of the soundboard and bridge. The soundboard is made of slow-grown Sitka spruce, a tall evergreen from the Northwest and Alaska. We use the highest criteria to select the finest grade available. It has wonderfully close grains, and the logs are quarter sawn so that the grain runs straight down the length of the board. Nothing else comes close to the acoustical qualities of this wood. To the native properties of the wood, we add an exclusive and distinctive feature, our famous diaphragmatic taper. It is fitted into the piano slightly crowned. This allows vibrations to travel freely along the grain to the center, moving more air, increasing the sound, and projecting it. The bridge glued to the top of the soundboard is made of vertical laminated maple, just like the grand rim. The bridge transmits vibrational energy